It's that time again. Another less Kevin, more tech, UTECIT.com, right?
Absolutely.
And so today we got today's going to be the easiest podcast ever, right? Because it's just a small ask, right? Just need a couple $1 million, right?
That's all.
So if we could get what are we, 18 listeners now?
Yeah, could be.
If they all ponied up how much, and we get that couple $1 million goal, right?
Yeah, a couple hundred each, we'll be fine.
No problem.
Now they won't give it to you and I, but if we introduce our next guest here, I'm sure she can get this money here this afternoon.
Yeah. Melissa,
Hello.
tell us a little bit about you and your organization.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm Melissa Block, and I am the Director of Development and Growth at Children's Healing Center. And we are an organization that is the only organization of its kind in the country that serves families who has a child aged 0 to 26 with a vulnerability to illness. And we serve them by providing programs that increase opportunities for socialization to reduce the negative effects of isolation that they're dealing with because of their child's illness.
So, as I was going through your website, fantastic website, by the way.
Thank you.
And I see you're 2015. Right?
2015 is when we opened our doors.
Right?
Yep.
And you opened them in Grand Rapids.
Mm-hmm.
So how did that all come about?
Yeah. So we were started by a young gal named Amanda Barber, who was a Grand Rapids native but went to U of M for architecture school. She graduated, came back home, and shortly after beginning her first job, she was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. So she was treated at the Children's Hospital. And through that experience, she was meeting many families whose lives have been upended, and they were really struggling because their whole family was forced into isolation. So she, at the time as an architect, was working on a personal sports barn for a local family. And through that experience, she thought, well, what if I could take these families that I'm meeting in this sports barn concept and put them together and create something really special? So I met Amanda over in Ivy Bowl. My daughter was diagnosed with cancer just after Amanda was. And I've had the privilege of watching this dream of hers grow and kind of being a small part of it. And then coming on board in 2015 to help her run the organization.
Yeah. So not a small part. You're being humble.
We have a good team.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
So this is a mission that you were called on to do, right? This is something personal and something you relate to and really important, isn't it?
Very much so. As a family who walked this journey, it's very easy for me when families come through our doors to say, I understand what you're going through. It's been a while since we've been in that position, but the effects of it still are a little raw. And I remember very vividly what it was like to have to say no to birthday parties and holidays with our family, or even taking my children to the grocery store, play dates, going to the park. All of the little things that you take for granted in life are things that are overanalyzed by families who have children with complex medical conditions.
Discussion right now in the media and what have you about isolationism, and the effects that it has on individuals and families, not good.
Yeah.
And so I just find it unique that you've keyed in on that piece.
Yeah, and what's really fortunate, I guess, for us is that this was being studied a lot prior to COVID-19, and then you usher in a global pandemic that really forced everybody into states of isolation and loneliness. The whole world kind of has a small measure of what it's like for our families, kind of brought them up to par. And while the world kind of went back to normal and people started to rejoin their lives, our families didn't, because that was their steady state. So for us, the pandemic was really business as usual. We stayed open as an essential service, serving our members. We had a few modifications to our processes that we did to keep our members even safer, but everything we do, the way our building is built, the way we operate, is solely focused on ensuring that we are mitigating the risk of illness that our families might experience by coming to our space.
Yeah, I think so many now. Well, everybody says I'm ignorant, but I was definitely ignorant to that part of the aspect. You don't think about that, and with COVID, I think it's raised our awareness, kind of shook all of us, right, to say this is an everyday cause, and it's normal for folks that are walking down the path you guys went down. So it's very important we have a clean area to get out and be a part of it with other folks.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah, I like your logo as your
Good, clean fun.
good, clean fun. And so the theme of play, that's that is what is kind of your recurring theme is play.
Yeah, play is so important. It's what teaches children how to interact with others. It teaches them how to work through their emotions, fine motor skill development, social interaction. There are so many aspects of play that are critical to children's development, and not just play by themselves, but play with others. That when you remove that from the equation, you're really affecting those children's overall growth and future development.
Well, yeah, I can only imagine how scary it is for any kid diagnosed with this and say, here's the journey you're going to go down, and then not being around to be other peers like themselves and kids like that to exercise and give it an outlet would be terrible.
And also, it's not just the qualifying child, it's the entire family. So when a child qualifies for the center, the entire family is encouraged to participate in programs. So it's a whole family membership. Because every single person is affected. Every single person has to be careful about being exposed to germs. Every member is working through their own emotional situations as well. So, whether they're infants all the way up to the parents, we really try to embrace them and have this whole family approach. It's really important to us.
And just to connect the dots for me, I'm going to make the assumption, but the isolationism is caused because of the medical treatments.
Yeah, so either it's the condition itself or the treatment path is causing that child to have a weak immune system. So they're much more vulnerable to illness. For these kids, a common cold can definitely put them in the hospital for a long time, or could even lead to death. It's pretty critical. So every single thing these families do is calculated based on the risk to that vulnerable child and their family.
So how do you, when you design your facility, when you right now you're designing one here for Southeast Michigan in Ypsilanti Township, but what are some of the things that you do that are different than maybe another organization that might be trying to help the same families out?
Yeah, we were very intentional about the way that we designed our space. And in West Michigan, we have, and we plan to continue this at our future sites, including the one here in Ypsilanti. We have HEPA air filtration. We have water filtration. Our water actually is kept to a specific temperature that does not allow for bacteria growth. And our faucets flush every 12 hours to make sure there's no standing water in our lines. As far as our air filtration goes, we have 5 units in our building that have 2 filters each, and those filters are changed bi-monthly basis, I believe, to ensure that our air is very clean. We have pressurization in the building so that the air goes outside, not back in. When our members enter the center, we have a self-contained screening area that is by itself with its own HVAC unit and own pressurization. So that way when families pass our screening and then they can enter our program space, it wouldn't compromise it further if someone were ill. We have very strict cleaning protocols that we stick to. And we have a product that's called Surface Shield that's sprayed on all of our high-touch, high-traffic surfaces, which is basically it's these microscopic spikes. Germs and microbes are attracted, impaled, and they die basically immediately. Oh, wow. It's pretty cool. So they swab test that.
A lot of science.
Really, there's a lot of science.
Yeah, there is.
That's really like the very bare bones of how that works. I'm sure there's a better description out there somewhere. And it's not as novel now post-pandemic, but we have strict screening protocols too that everyone is required to pass before they enter into our space, just as current health status, to make sure that no one is coming in ill. And on top of that, because of what our members experience every day, they're very cognizant of what they're going through. So if their child wakes up with sniffles, they'll call and tell us they're not coming to a program, or anybody in their family is not feeling well. And additionally, our volunteers and staff all adhere to all of that as well.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, so you have put a lot of thought into it.
We try, yeah.
Well, I imagine you have to have such a big staff, too, because at any one time, somebody could you can have 2 or 3 staff members out too, right?
Actually, we try to run as lean as possible. You know, as a nonprofit, we want to be very good stewards of the funds that are trusted to us. So we have 12 staff members total throughout the state for our 2 sites. But really, we rely on an army of volunteers that help us run our programs. So we have 32 volunteers that around that who work on the same shifts every week. So we do have a great dedicated team, but not as large as you might think.
Okay.
Got it.
So walk us through this. We get through the screening process. We get through the front doors. We get through the clean room. And as a kid or a family member, we get into the play area. What's that like for us now?
So just to kind of give you a visual of the space, in our current West Michigan space, we have 7,000 square feet. We have what we call different zones. We have an exploratory play zone that focuses on imaginative play, fine motor skill development, and socialization of our little kids. We have an active fitness area that's designed to get the bodies moving because that's super important. Right. We have a teen and technology space that is more of a multi-purpose room, but it's kind of designed to appeal to our older teen and young adult members. And we have an art room. So depending on the day and the program that members are attending, it might look a little different. But we do have a preschool that runs 3 mornings a week. So we have, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Cool. We have our little kids coming through to learn. And really that program is designed to make sure that these kids are developmentally ready and on the same footing as their peers when they enter traditional school, if they're able to go traditional school. Some of our kids cannot, some can. If it's our teen night, you'll find the teens doing Minute to Win It, or sometimes they do baking challenges or just hanging out. We have basketball hoop outside, and if it's in our art room, we do a lot of art therapy type programs, or canvas painting or pottery. So whatever we're doing is really distinctly designed to make sure that our members are building community, having fun, and that the kids just can forget about what they're going through for a while.
Wow. Are the volunteers primarily being the role of facilitator, teacher?
Partially. We do have internships too. So we have interns that help us run a lot of our programs. But we do have a lot of volunteers that have been with us since we opened our doors 8 years ago. So the more we build with these volunteers, the more that they're able to help us really put on our programs. So we've been really, really blessed with the people that come to lend their time and talents to us at the center.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Now, how long will the kids be there during the day or evening as this goes?
Yeah, our programs are drop-in, so they're about 2 to 3 hours at a time, depending on the program. And right now, we have 2 sessions. We have our school year session, which is 4 mornings, 4 evenings, and a couple weekend nights and Saturdays a month. Rolling into summer, we have 7 weeks of summer camps, also drop-in. So those are 4 days a week. And then we have a few nights of programs as well. We try to really bring everything that our members would typically be able to participate in if they had quote unquote normal lives in the outside world. We try to bring it to them at the center.
Wow. Wonderful.
Yeah, it is. It really is. It's I think I heard you say at the very beginning, the only facility in the U.S.
Of its kind. Yeah.
Because I can tell you, we'll use your word, ignorant. It's a new concept for me.
And if you haven't had to deal with it, you wouldn't ever think about it. And blessedly, you haven't. And that's wonderful. But once your life is affected by it, obviously everything changes.
Yeah. Now, with these kids, if you get introduced, is there a time period that they're with you? Or is it once you're into the program, you stay there till 26? Or is it?
Our membership is a lifetime membership. We never force anyone out because what we find is when you look at since I should backtrack just a little bit. Since we've opened in West Michigan, we have had over 2,700 members come through our facility. And at last look, there were more than 250 different diagnosis types, so different combinations of illnesses that qualify kids for the center. So you have to think it's like cardiology, kidney, cancer, pulmonology, hematology, all the ologies. And within those diagnoses, some kids like cancer, there's a hope that you're going to get to the other side of it, right? That you're going to get cured and move into your regular life or pre-cancer life. But with a lot of the other illnesses, those are lifetime. These kids are going to deal with them forever.
Right.
So a lot of times families are coming to us at a really young age and they're sticking with us. And because they need that. And because our membership goes through age 26, that family can stay with us for a really long time.
Is this insurance driven, or is this just all, does insurance cover this for the families, or does this something that they had to pay for? Or is
Great question. We, as a nonprofit,
you'll realize, I only ask good questions.
I mean,
you know.
you've been doing a really great job. So we're a nonprofit. We're completely community funded, and it is very important to us that our members never have to pay for a membership. So you should never have to pay to give your kid a childhood experience, you know, because it's denied them for something that's uncontrollable. So we work really hard to ensure that our members don't have to pay. But one thing to answer your insurance question, that's pretty cool. We have been working with Priority Health, which is a insurance funder on the west side, who we had a board member who was in leadership there who said, you know, I think we might have something here that's pretty neat. Why don't we do some data collection and see if we're affecting the health of these members positively? So we did some data collection, and that was really intriguing and was showing some good results. So Priority Health then helped us go to the state of Michigan to do a pilot project with the MDHHS and Children's Special Health Care, which is a supplemental insurance for children who are in complex medical situations. So we're currently in our second year of that pilot, which the state funded last year and is partially funding this year. And we're seeing some promising results that we are positively impacting our members' overall health, both in their health and healthcare costs. So the hope is that eventually we will be able to have some reimbursement through insurance, but we're working towards that.
Oh, we got to get there, because I don't think you need a study to realize what this does for the minds
Right,
and psyche
right.
of kids. And I'm thinking, as you're talking about this, just the parents. We're know somebody that's going through that, and just was talking to the mom, and just the outlet they need, you know, for the parents to stay positive and associate with other parents. And I just can't imagine.
It's a lonely existence when you are hyper-focused on making sure that your child is safe, and therefore you're balancing everything that your family does. And for the siblings, that often means saying no a lot, and to the qualifying child. So really to have those families have a place where they can come and the parents can really connect, to listen to our parents in the parent lounge and the types of conversations that they're able to have, like from day one. I always kind of joke and say it's like fifth date conversations. Like they're in deep from the get-go.
Quick.
Because it's such a deep shared experience and a shared trauma. And you'll frequently hear parents say, like, did we just become best friends? Like, what? This is really cool. Because so often they have to censor their emotions with other people or give a whole background of like the why, right? And nobody wants to hear negative all the time. So you tend to really, when you're dealing with other people as a parent with a complex child, oh, everything's going well. I mean, that morning might have been complete hell, or have had been really traumatic, but like people don't want to hear that on the day in and the day out. But at the center, they can come in and just unload on each other and share and really support each other through what they're going through. It's beautiful. It's a really cool community.
Well, you think about the relationship with Amanda and yourself, how quickly that developed.
Yeah.
You know, and where that's led.
It's really remarkable when you're in the trenches with someone with a shared trauma and how that forges real tight bonds.
Yeah.
So, Kat, would you mind if we switched over a little bit? I'd like to learn about what's happening here in our community.
I'd love to share.
Yeah.
Well, you haven't spent any time with Lori Beaumont. She's out here charging hard. I mean, you better watch out. She'll run you over trying to get some money out of you here.
Yes,
so.
And for a good cause and for a good reason, too. Yeah, Lori is our Southeast Executive Director over here and has really been responsible for driving a lot of the community connections that are helping us get to where we've gotten so far. So right from the get-go, from opening our doors, we knew our vision was bigger. We, as I mentioned with the work with Priority Health, we've always believed that we're more than a place to play, that we are a place that heals. And in order to heal more, we need to be in more places.
Right.
So early on, we knew that we wanted to plant another location. And quickly, this side of the state, the east side of the state, was really appealing to us, especially the Ann Arbor, Ypsilanti area, with world-class medical institutions, a real community spirit, and strong philanthropy. It just seemed like a really good fit. So early on, we were talking to different departments in the hospital, sharing what we were doing, and they were very excited. And now here we are, and we have a site and a building that's about to break ground, and a plan to be open in Southeast Michigan. Q1 of 2024.
Wow, that's fantastic. And there's some fundraising going on.
Yeah, so we are in a $6.5 million campaign, and we have about $1 million left of that to raise to close out that campaign, and we're really
We're going to
excited.
get it this afternoon.
That's
We're going
right.
to close that out.
We will flash my number and email on the screen, and we'll put that.
Right.
Good, clean fun.
That's right. Good, clean
Call
fun.
Melissa.
But we've been really blessed by the community here in Southeast Michigan and the enthusiasm of people who are really excited about what we're doing and that we're coming here to serve the community.
Well, you got a super great location. I
Oh,
mean, right,
yes.
right there at 94 and
Huron.
thank you.
Yes. So we're right across from Brinker Way. We're nestled. Actually, it's a really beautiful piece of property that we were gifted by Connie Kalita. And we're on the back parcel, and it overlooks Ford Lake, and then I think it's the 9th tee for the golf course, Eagle Crest
Wonderful.
Golf Course there. So it's a really serene, picturesque setting that our members are just going to love. It's just, we're really lucky to be where we landed.
Mm-hmm. So looking at your board in Grand Rapids there, you've got some great companies, Stryker, Spectrum Health, Michigan Medicine, Steelcase, Priority Health.
Yeah.
You got some great organizations over there. How are we doing on the east side over here?
Good. We have some good support from funders over here, and we are always looking to make more
I see.
connections.
Yeah.
So whether it's businesses, foundations, individuals, so many people with cancer in particular have been touched. And when you think of what it's like to have an adult in your household go through cancer, turn that around and have it be one of your kids, or any kind of complex medical condition, and to just really think about what they need and what you would do for them as a parent. I think that is really a really relatable thing, what we're trying to do. So I think it speaks to a lot of people.
Yeah. A broad audience, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So first quarter 2024, we hope to be open. We
that's
think
the plan. We're on track.
Right on track for that. How can people get involved? I mean, is there any other, you're looking for volunteers, right?
We will be a little later in the year.
Okay.
So as time goes on and we get a little closer to opening, we will be working on building our volunteer base. And additionally, program partners. So our model is that we have people that come in and volunteer their services to do programs for our members. Whether you have a special talent or proclivity for photography or art or fitness, anything that people want to share with others, we'd love to talk to you about coming in and gifting our members with that. And that'll be a little later in the year. We're also still working. We have just a little bit more to close on the building portion of the campaign, and then the rest goes to general operating. So one thing that our founder, Amanda, did when we opened the West Side location, which I think was just genius, was for the fundraising project over there, she wrapped in 3 years of operating. And what that allowed us to do is to spend 3 years working on making sure our members were loved and cared for and surrounded by just support when they walked in our doors and not having to keep the lights on, right?
Right.
So we do have a good chunk of operating wrapped into this campaign as well, so that we can do the same thing here.
That is great foresight.
Yeah, I think it's a really smart way to do it.
Well, it's important because, right, like you said, you get so wrapped up in just getting a facility open. If you can't operate it, then you're kind of almost...
Right. Handcuffed a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, from the mission. So we'll take checks too, along with volunteers, right? Checks,
That's right.
credit
Checks,
cards.
Yep. We have about 1.2 left in our campaign, and we're working really hard to close that gap and feel very confident that won't be a problem. But along with campaign donors, we're going to need people who can sustain us throughout the years too. So people who want to come and contribute to the campaign and then continue to be a part of our journey financially is also needed.
Well, I think you'll find, if you're not familiar with, the area over here in Ann Arbor, Ypsilanti, Washtenaw County, there are a lot of remarkable businesses and individuals over here that this would strike a passion for. And,
Absolutely.
And they want to give
community.
back and look for the youth. So I think you're going to find it very neat community to be involved with.
We are very excited, and so far it's been a really positive experience, and we've been really blessed by the people who've rallied behind us so far.
And the nice thing is, if they don't want to be involved, Lord will put them in a headlock to make sure that they change their opinion real quickly.
She's persuasive. She's
Yes,
good
she
at what
is.
she does.
Well, it's a great cause. Great story.
Yeah, we're just super excited to be over here.
We are blessed that we have amazing people like you that can see this vision and get connected with the people. And unfortunately, you got tapped on the shoulder. It probably wasn't a journey you wanted to go down. But thank you for being passionate about it and driving and pushing the rest of us and
My pleasure.
bringing awareness to us.
Yeah, sometimes your life experiences kind of direct where your life goes, and that's what happened with mine. And here we are today. But I'm really fortunate that I can use my daughter's diagnosis and to kind of, but to bless other families who I intimately understand what they're going through.
Now we said earlier we were ignorant, and we haven't asked the most important question yet today, have we?
Actually, I kind of did early.
Was I sleeping?
No, you weren't here yet.
Okay.
But it is a very important question.
For the listeners.
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead and answer.
How's your daughter doing?
Oh, she's great. Thank you. I like to share the anecdote now. We're so far, removed now, but when she was first diagnosed, the doctor had sat us down and said, I want to get her to a point where you worry less about the cancer coming back and worry more about her getting her driver's license. And she is almost ready to sign up for segment 2 of driver's training. She's
awesome.
A thriving freshman. She's in theater, and she just is a joy. She's an absolute delight and just beams sunshine every day. So
that's exciting.
We are incredibly blessed to be where we're at, and that I can use my life experience to give back to a community that means a lot to me.
Well, Les is great for a lot of things. I mean, he'll help get the message out. He'll help raise money for you. He'll volunteer. But please don't let your daughter learn how to drive. Don't let him anywhere near teaching her, all right?
I'm not sure she should be learning from me either, to be honest. But
well, she'll be slow and steady if I'm teaching her.
Opposite with me.
Anything else we should know?
No, just that if you're interested in getting involved, we would love to speak to you in whatever manner that may be. Time, treasure, talent. It takes a village to surround communities with love. And this is a community who is in need of some love and a place. And we want people to help us do that.
I love it.
Yeah, they always said about me I was depriving a village of something.
You can redeem that. I know a place where you can redeem that.
So anyways, we always like closing out our segments with asking somebody what kind of bourbon they like or a favorite flavor. And we were both chuckling when you immediately jumped right in and said, because not all the people are bourbon drinkers, but you knew your bourbon pretty well, didn't you?
I'm not by any means an expert. I know what I like. I shared that my 94-year-old grandma
Let's share that.
is a whiskey and water drinker, and that's her, I think her claim to longevity. So we call it having an Esther. It's my grandma's name. So I started with whiskey and water and have progressed to bourbon. So my everyday drinker is Traverse City Whiskey Company.
Yeah, very nice.
Very nice. Easy. I also love a Basil Hayden's, and I like to dabble.
Now, did we serve Esters in the Children's Healing Center?
No. That would go against probably everything that we should be doing, but
How about for the parents?
Yes, we do. We will do that for the parents.
Well, hey, cheers to a great mission and
Thank
all
you
your
so
hard
much. Really appreciate
work.
it.
Cheers to your daughter's good health and
Thank you.
lots of good memories going forward for her. So
much appreciated. Thanks
Welcome
for having
to
me.
the community.
Yes, thanks.
It's awesome.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.